episode 3 of Wildest Prison Stories. In this particular episode, you're going to hear ex-inmates or people who were once incarcerated speak on their experiences. Like the transgender who I put at the end of the video is going to explain how she got physically harmed because a guy thought she was rejecting him. He thought that she didn't like him, but she had her reasons why.
Okay, so y'all, on today's episode of It Goes Down in the Prison, let me tell y'all. So I got put in restrictive housing today. Now, for those of y'all that don't know, restrictive housing is where the inmates go when they do something bad or they need like protective custody. They get separated in these small cells by themselves. It's only their bunk, the toilet, and the sink. So I'm in restrictive housing and I get to chatting it up with the inmates. Now, disclaimer, I treat them all like people on the street, strangers on the street. Whatever crime they did, they already incarcerated for it. You know what I mean? I'm not there to condemn them even more. So I'm talking to this young lady and I heard a lot of stories today, but this one in particular stands out because this girl is so young. She's only 24, y'all. The girl told me she ended up in jail because she was addicted to meth. And one day she ended up tweaking out, thinking people was trying to kill her. And she ran around the town, butt naked and stuff, like trying to get away from these people that's trying to kill her. And in the midst of it, she ended up putting her hands on family members, like beating up her parents and stuff like that. So fast forward, we just chatting it up. And she's talking to me and I'm listening because I like the tea. Anyhow, the girl get to telling me about a specific officer. Now here's where the tea come in at, right? So in restrictive housing, there's two sides. Some prisons have more. My particular prison has two sides, A side and the B side. It's usually one officer on A side, one officer on B side, one officer that's in this little box called the picket, and he controls the doors. But on this particular night, the girl said it was only one officer on the floor running two sides, both A and B side, and it was one officer in the little box in the picket. So now, this girl and this officer made up this whole crazy plan to kill a spider in her cell. Now, how the cells are set up is the bunk is lifted off the ground. So like you have to climb up a little ladder to get onto the bunk. It's like a bunk bed with no bottom, if y'all can imagine that. So their plan was her to be sitting on the bunk while he's trying to kill a spider. Right? Now imagine while she's sitting on the bunk, he's tall enough for it to be face the cooch to crotch. See what I'm saying? That was their plan. So while she's sitting down on the bunk, he's going to be standing up munch. Y'all get it? So she said as she started taking off her trousers, okay, as she started dropping them drawers, she said the officer that was in the picket came out of the picket and was like, what is going on in here? I don't see no spider, blah, 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 and pulled the dude out. Now, what gets me is this officer had a whole wife and kids at home. That's crazy to me. But it's not the first time. It happens all of the time. These officers get up in here and they sleep with each other and they sleep with these inmates. And it's crazy. It's crazy. So I was telling the girl, I was like, tell me his name. Tell me his name. Like, what officer is it? What officer is it? She was like, girl, I'm not going to tell you his name because I don't want to mess up the chance of getting my box ate. Excuse me? And it's so crazy because the hygiene in the prisons are not great at all. They're not even good. And you want to munch and crunch on something and then go back home to your wife? I'm baffled. And then you don't even really, you don't know these inmates. This girl was addicted to meth. Who whatever else, what all she was doing. Who knows? I don't know. I just thought to share that with y'all because it was some tea for me. So I decided to give y'all a little tea. Let me know if y'all want to keep hearing more prison stories. I got a few of them. A few good ones. A few good ones I think y'all might like.
What is a safety valve? Explain to the people what is a safety valve.
A safety valve is when you enter the federal prison system and you've never been in trouble before, and they offer you the safety valve, meaning that they're going to give you levels off of your prison sentence, meaning that if you was facing 15 years or 20 years or 10 years, the safety valve is going to take a whole lot of off you because you've never been in trouble before. That's the only thing that can get out of telling, snitching. Like the whole stop snitching thing and all these rat ass niggas running around telling on the whole world. The only thing that can break a minimum mandatory is a safety valve or a 5K1 or a Rule 35. Nothing else can break no minimum mandatory. Meaning that if they get you and they say you carry 10 to life or 15 to life, the only thing that's going to break that 10 to life or that 15 to life is a safety valve. And a safety valve is cool, y'all. Let me go ahead and explain that to y'all. When you say, like, somebody got a safety valve, that don't mean they told shit. That just mean the motherfucker ain't have no record. And that mean he got a lot of levels off. So if he was facing 10 years, now the motherfucker might be only facing 6 years. Or even, maybe even 7, based on the safety valve.
What make a person qualify for a safety valve again?
You don't have no record. The only thing gonna get you a safety valve if you don't have no.
After doing 5 years in federal prison, there are 3 things that I will never forget. Let's start with number 1. Women stink. Smell like budussy. Listen, I was in there with some of the baddest bitches when I was in the holding facility before they ever got treatment or checked on STDs and everything. And they stunk, or they would be so pretty, but just so freaking dirty. Get your ass in that shower dirty. If I could smell you, I know you could smell yourself. Number 2, guards would tell us stories about their experiences working in the BOP, and one of the stories I was always told was about men who had families on the outside but would be doing their thing in the tank with the male. And to me, that's so disrespectful. I completely support LGBT community. I have no room to talk, but I just feel like you should not lie to your significant other on the outside and be doing some shady shit like that in the inside with somebody. Because then you're not being true to you or your family. Number 3, there are women who would really get raped by officers in prison and harassed. And then there were other women who would set these officers up to try to get money or whatever they wanted out of them, trying to run game. So I always felt like it was unfair to the women who was actually getting harassed and raped by these officers in prison, because they were always looked at as they were lying. It was hard to tell the difference between the truth or not. Who was being sincere. So those are my top 3.
So outside the boys is crazy, and they don't play about their feelings. And I want people to understand DL dudes are not the same as in there as they in out here. DL dudes in there still hold your hand and kiss you in your mouth. These DL dudes out here, they crazy. I don't even know how people subject themselves to that. The DL in there, people are wide open in there. We can sleep in the, me and my people used to sleep in the bed together. We walk the child together, we sit together, we kissing on the backyard, we holding hands. The police coming there, be one punk to a bunk tonight. I don't want to see two of y'all in a bunk tonight, because they know when the lights go out, we all jumping out people's bunk. I remember one time me and my boyfriend was fighting, and the police was why you so mad? You ain't getting none tonight? And my boyfriend was nah, she tripping. He was the lady was go back there, I'm gonna let y'all go back there, y'all just handle y'all business. I bet you feel better. And she was giving us okay to go in there and knock them. Bitch, he bounced me off every wall in there. So, and when he came out, the lady was you feel better? She told her you feel better? But they not really homophobic. You get a couple homophobic people in there, but you really stay away from them. Paying no mind. Them the ones that get their heart broken stuff. Them the ones that want you, and they don't know how to tell you they want you. And you got to stay away from the gang boys, especially the young dumb ones, because they'll stab you. They don't play. I got stabbed in my face by this boy that was trying to talk to me. He was real fine, but I was trying to tell him he was new to prison. I say, you can't be trying to talk to me because I'm really popular here. A lot of people know me. A lot of people trying to talk to me, and they be watching me. And you're trying to talk to me, they're going to stab you up. He wasn't listening. He thought I was rejecting him. Child boy stabbed me. Stabbed right in my face. But other than that, like, you know, that's the stuff you have to be mindful of and be careful. Like, these boys tried to rape me one time, and they don't come in a dime. They come in groups of 2s and 3s. Like, it was some boys from Tampa. They had, like, big Ross beards and stuff like that, and they put out knives on me. Girl, I had to shoot snot out my nose crying in there. Like, I was like, they just killed my whole family crying there. Like, I was like, oh, like, it was so ugly. It's not like, why y'all do? I was 20. I had just came, and the boys, they do their research on you. They knew all my information. They was like, hey, your name such and such. Yeah. They was like, ain't you Haitian? I was like, yeah. They knew like everything. Like, oh, you from such and such, and you got this much time. I was like, oh, y'all know me. And I'm thinking they cool because they look like niggas. I didn't know I had just came. I probably in prison like a month. They took me to their dorm, took me to their room, and when I got there, this one boy did, and it was like 3 of them, and I was going to see my friend that I had met there, and he was like, he lived in the same dorm with them, so I'm like, can you take me down there? He took me down there to a trap. He took me down there. It was him. He took me to his room, and there was another boy in there. Then they called another nigga in there, and they went to pulling out knives, and they were talking about, woo, they were trying to get me. I was crying